Sometimes it's easy to forget that fascination with alien life is not unique to America. In 2015, the US Navy saw what they called unidentified aerial phenomena almost daily, with tons of videos too. In fact, it was only on September 18th of this year that they officially confirmed that this is real footage.
My gosh! We're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
The same phenomenon happened to the Chilean Navy in 2014 and also in 2008 in Turkey. Reports of UFO sightings go all the way back to ancient Egypt, though they continue to be seen even in modern times. Although not nearly as enthusiastic as Americans, Asians have been fascinated with aliens too. Just look at the 2003 film, Save the Green Planet.
고향 후배인데? 무슨 고향 후배? 아니 저 혹시 고향이 안드로메다 아니십니까?
The 2007 film, Reciclo.
Kaparaiso po kami.
Paraiso? Yun ang hinahanap namin lugar ah.
And of course, Godzilla. And they've even had their fair share of close encounters. For our post-Area 51 raid special, here are 5 times that UFOs have been spotted on the Asian continent. February 22nd, 1803. One of the first and most intriguing UFO incidents happened in Japan, in the village of Harayadori, on the coast of the Hitachi province back in 1803. Some fishermen discovered an unknown object that was described as a ship of some sort floating in the water. They brought it back to land, and an attractive young woman exited from out of it. She was around 18 to 20 years old, had red hair and light pinkish skin, wore fancy clothes, and spoke a strange language that no one could understand. She held a small box that she let no one touch, and then she went back into her ship and left. On March 24th, 1803, the very next month, the incident happened again, and according to eyewitnesses, it was almost identical. There are a few scattered accounts of similar things happening in other villages, but information is pretty scarce. About this event, a lot of historians say that based on the descriptions that are given, perhaps the woman was European, maybe British or even American, but most likely Russian. However, that doesn't explain what exactly the ship is. And I mean, just look at it. Other people claim that the entire story is simply fabricated, a legend or folklore. One reason for this is because the 2 villages in which the incident supposedly took place, Haratonohama and Harayadori, don't actually exist on modern or historical maps. This could be due to human error, the villages being too small or insignificant to include on a map, or simply just being lost to history. Second is the Hopei incident. According to the story behind the photo, in 1942, an American man was traveling in the Hopei province of China and saw a mysterious flying object, so he snapped a picture of it. The photo was then purchased by a Japanese man, and later publicized by his son, Masujiro Kiru, who found the photo while looking through his father's things. Again, information is pretty scarce on the story, and all the sources literally say the exact same thing. Like, literally. I've tried to research Masujiro Kiru, and I couldn't find anything on him, besides, of course, the story of the photo. So the legitimacy of the story is in question. It's been said that 2 people in this photo are pointing at the flying object, but honestly I can't tell myself. If you can see them, let me know in the comments where they are, because it just seems too low quality to tell. This next incident took place over Fukuoka, Japan, known as the Fukuoka UFO incident, taking place on October 15th, 1948. An American pilot was flying a P-61 Black Widow when it picked up an unidentified target on its radar flying at a modest 200 miles per hour. As far as I know, this is the first time a UFO has been picked up on radar. Of course, the pilots tried to get in contact with the unidentified craft, but every time it would get closer than 12,000 feet, the unidentified object would accelerate to 1,200 miles an hour, an insane speed that humans wouldn't be able to reach until 1957 in the McDonnell F-101A Voodoo. The crew said they attempted contact with the unidentified craft 6 times, but each time it would quickly do a 180-degree turn and dive under the P-61 at high speeds. They said that the craft was about 20 to 30 feet long and looked like a rifle bullet. One user on the AboveTopSecret.com forums hypothesized that the plane could have been the top secret Bell X-1, which Chuck Yeager could fly at 900 miles per hour. And coincidentally, Yeager flew the plane for the very first time on October 14th, 1947. The size of 30 feet long matches the unidentified craft's profile, as well as the iconic bullet shape of the X-1. Later models were eventually able to reach 1650 miles per hour. However, other users were quick to point out that the speed and maneuverability of the unidentified craft far outclassed the X-1, specifically the quick 180 turns, as well as its rate of acceleration and deceleration. Not to mention that the X-1 was only capable of short-distance flights, and was only ever tested at the Muroc Air Force Base in California. The X-1 also uses a rocket engine, which means that, like a space rocket, it can only be used once and continues to accelerate until the fuel is depleted. Much has been discussed on the incident, but nothing has been conclusive, and I'm not sure anything ever will be. On April 26, 2015, unidentified lights were spotted in the province of Pampanga, Philippines. According to several witnesses, the motionless lights were simply floating in the night sky. There were initially only 3, forming a V formation, but soon after, 7 more appeared. About 5 to 8 minutes later, all the lights vanished, according to the witnesses. A video of the event was taken and was shared all over social media. After seeing the video, the National Meteorological and Hydrological Services of the Philippines, PAGASA, officially stated that it was impossible that the lights were coming from an airplane, a hot air balloon, or a drone, due to the size of the lights. There were no tall buildings near the location the video was filmed either. 4 years later, and this incident still remains shrouded in mystery. Finally, one of the most intriguing incidents in my opinion is the Hangzhou UFO sighting in China. This happened at 8:40 p.m. on July 7, 2010, at the Hangzhou Shaoshan International Airport. This one definitely deserves a place on the list because it prompted government action. The flight crew of a plane preparing for descent detected a mysterious floating object in the sky and quickly notified air traffic control. The airport was immediately shut down. All outgoing flights were grounded and 18 incoming flights were diverted to airports in Ningbo and Wuxi. Normal operations resumed an hour later, but nobody had any answers as to what it was. In the same year, another airport in Inner Mongolia was shut down for a similar phenomenon, and again in 2015. That makes 3 Chinese airports shut down by UFOs in 5 years, and nobody knows why. Military testing seems the most likely. There were also speculations that it could have been a missile, a satellite, or an aircraft, but no one knows for sure. Officials from the Civil Aviation Administration of China told the media that the incident was under investigation, but as far as I know, a conclusion was never publicly announced. While Asia has definitely seen more than these 5 UFO incidents, such as several more incidents in the Philippines, India, Indonesia, and other locations, at least to me, these 5 seem the most interesting and well documented. While working on this video, I've read through several dozen incidents, and honestly, a lot of them seem like terrible hoaxes to me, or obvious military testing. However, some of them just have me absolutely baffled.
The Navy says it still doesn't know what the objects are, and officials aren't speculating.
And I'm not really a conspiracy theorist or even superstitious. They just leave me with no explanation. One would assume that just as many other supernatural and unexplained phenomena, the more technologically advanced we become as a civilization, the more easily these mysteries can be disproved as hoaxes or easily explained as something natural or secret military testing. However, with UFOs, it seems like it's just the opposite.
There are more and more reports of UFOs being made each year. Now most are later identified, but some simply can't be easily explained.
The world seems like it's seeing more UFOs than ever before without any answers. And that begs the question, will extraterrestrial life ever be confirmed?